Good morning and welcome everyone for another segment of VTF Live. Looking forward to reading your comments and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy our segment for today. It's been an exciting week for our beginner track interns. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mallory Vega. I am the Director of Operations and Management here at VTF, and we'll go ahead and begin. All right, again, our Virtually Testing Foundation is a nonprofit volunteer-run organization since 2012. We don't sell products, service, or data, so we are proud to serve the community. We offer beginner and advanced track internships, which benefits the community and everyone else who would like to participate. And also, we have invested in all resources that will provide quality learning experience. Karthik, want to take it away?
Thank you, Mallory. So, hello everyone. My name is Karthikeyan Ramaswamy. I am the Manager of Technology and Development at Virtually Testing Foundation. Let us quickly review at what the VTF beginner track interns had learned during week one. As you all are aware, interns were assigned three tasks, which were cybersecurity, business etiquette, and network visibility. So interns were introduced to MITRE attack framework and how it works. They were also introduced to MITRE Defend and Navigator. And in the business etiquette, were they learned about APA format and its significance. The APA format clarifies papers on frequently complex topics. It makes documents easier to read and comprehend. Furthermore, if you intend to publish your works, APA citations make it simple for your readers to cross reference your sources. Coming to network visibility task, nowadays hiring process is mainly conducted through LinkedIn. Therefore, a candidate should have a good profile as well as a good networking and connection. Now we'll go ahead and move to week two. So for week two, the interns were introduced to Splunk training, where they learned about the course what is Splunk. Also, they were introduced to vulnerability management maturity model from SANS. It's seven phases and five levels. Then for business etiquette, they were introduced. They were asked to write a professional email to the manager requesting his time for the decision on tactics to develop the team. And for network visibility task, we wanted the interns to post about what they learned in week two in their LinkedIn and Twitter. As we want interns to connect with their peers by sending them a connection on LinkedIn, also by using a personalized invite to connect with all the people in LinkedIn. So that's all they learned in week two. Over to you, Victor.
Thank you, Mallory. Thank you, Karthik. As Karthik said, I think this is really important. Week one and week two was really insightful to set the really fundamental foundation for our interns. In week one, you start with the why, so the threat-centric approach. That's mostly, I would say, new or entry level or transitioning professionals in cybersecurity. They're missing that. A lot of time we have seen entry level folks when they start a new job and they are looking at what they need to actually provide the value back to the organization, they're missing that threat centric approach. So MITRE, going through MITRE framework, I think that really sets them for success and they understand why are they doing it. So if someone asks them, hey, can I go and set up a firewall rule, they should ask, why are we doing it, what are the impacts, and how do we come to the conclusion that this is what it's need. So I think this really sets them to a part where now they understand a mindset of asking the right questions and going impact analysis, and finally gain the confidence to a level where they are confident enough and comfortable enough to asking the right questions. Second week, I think this was really good because people a lot of times they're missing where are the logs going to go store, and finally how to read them. A lot of time we have seen people, they are excited when they see a log but they don't know what they're looking for. A lot of time we have seen folks making the mistake of sending a lot of logs and not the right ones. So in week two, it's kind of the stepping stone, if you will. If it's for week one, they learned about MITRE, why they are doing it. Week two is okay, when something is wrong or something does go wrong, they can go and look into the logs. Week three, I think this was really exciting because cybersecurity professionals, defenders, they use a lot of open source tools. At the same time, open source intelligence to make sure that what's out there, information, either for you yourself or your company, your organization, you can be informed and really help your organization to understand these are the threats out there. This is the information out there that can be used against their company. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's all public information. So companies go in and hire a bunch of red teamers, and those red teamers really focus on what the company is providing them the information, such as where are their firewalls, where are their web servers, and those things. But using OSINT, you can really help your organization to understand these are email addresses out there on public forums that can be used against you. Here is something that someone posted about your company because they were struggling to set it up and they gave almost everything, including the username and password. Well, that's out there. So, really learning what is OSINT and applying that using try hack me rules was something really insightful for our beginner internship. And they already talked about how to avoid overcommitment, and that's something I covered last week as well, where when you are in student life, you always have this mindset that all everything is already given it to you. You know exactly the whole year what you're going to be taking the classes, when the exam, and everything. In real world, a lot of times our tasks are given on the fly. We don't even know how much time it's going to take. So we gone through some hands-on exercises to really get our interns to understand when a task is given. First, how do you actually confirm what are the due dates, who are the resources, dependencies, and finally break them into chunks so that you can go in and make sure that you can deliver on time. If it is something practically impossible, you need to provide that feedback right away instead of waiting until the last minute so that either your manager or your team leader or your peers can really come together and figure out if this is something we it's time sensitive, how do we all come together and actually deliver it? So how to avoid overcommitment. That's one of the areas that we really provide our internship hands-on exercises, because that's something you can't just train yourself watching a video. That's something you have to go through it. And they got that learning during week three, and they learned about how to avoid overcommitment. Week four is my favorite. I think week four is something I'm always looking forward to it for working with our interns because it's network security. And I used to have a saying that, as Shakira said, my hips don't lie. I think for network security folks, it's my packets don't lie. So with that, they learned about overview of network security. So a lot of times we have seen that cybersecurity defenders and professionals, they are actually missing the fundamentals, such as why do you need to have network security? They're really focusing on the part where we need to set up new firewall. Now that we have IoTs or OTs, we have bring your own device. We need to set up these policies, but having the defensible architecture in your mind when you're setting these things up and making sure network security is always at the choke points and internal visibility within the network what's going on, it really something can set you up for that success where you can avoid having cyber attacks for your organization. And honestly, with network security, you can really actually get the complete picture what's going on, the applications, how they are actually communicating internally and externally, how the network traffic is actually impacting your overall bandwidth. So a lot of cybersecurity, I would say, relies upon network security because not only gives you visibility into who and what and how it's happening, it gives you visibility into the dependencies of your application. It gives you visibility into something anomalous. In order for an attacker to get into your organization and leave with your intellectual property, your crown jewels, they do need that network. So network security is really fundamental, and that's why it's week 4 where our interns are now starting to get into the tactical part of cybersecurity. They started with the strategy part, MITRE, log management, and OSINT. Now this is where they get into tactical part where we can get the detection, prevention, respond, recover, all of those to really bolster your cybersecurity program for your organization. And they also talked about some of the types of cybersecurity. Within cybersecurity, there are different areas that we all focus upon. Network vulnerabilities, how do you actually detect them? Some of the hands on exercises they've gone through this week is using Nmap. Well, that's a great solution, but how do you actually run those scripts on demand, automated, so that you can get the reports in hand? How do you read those reports? How do you compare those reports? So again, understanding what does network security, mapping it back to network vulnerabilities, how do you manage those vulnerabilities? And fun stuff like using Scapy. Actually, you create custom packet, and as a defender, when you see it, what jumps out? How do you know it's a custom packet? That's something you really need to go in and look at it. So network security fundamental. Now we're getting the technical part of it, and our interns are every week they're learning something new. They're learning something that can really help them understand complete picture of cybersecurity. People learn all of these experiences over years, like 10 years or 5 years or 3 years. Our interns are learning within 10 weeks. Now let's talk about project management and how is that really important for our interns. As I said, last week was all about overcommitment. How do we avoid it? Well, with that, we also have to make sure that we commit to the right things. We need to actually get the project, program, and tasks flowing as well. All of us get assigned different tasks from our management, from our leadership to get the business flowing. And with that, a lot of times there are processes and different methodologies that we follow. This week, our interns learned about Scrum. They learned about how to actually go in and understand a project in an agile method. Not only they learned, they also got certificates from different training platforms. So that's again good for you to go and highlight on your social media platform. And also, it's great for a recruiter to see that you understand Scrum, because if your company, let's say, really follows the project management methodology and they're really understanding now that each employee has to contribute to those methodologies. It's not something that only project management office have to understand and follow, but really everyone has to contribute, including cybersecurity professionals. If you tell them that you understand Scrum and you understand what are the difference between a waterfall versus agile, well, you have hot seat already. You really got that ticket on the tables. You really made that list where now they really want you to actually join their team. This is really important. For your success, you need to start understanding project management. How do you actually keep all the tasks aligned between the timeline, owner, dependencies, and honestly, that wish list? I know every time I'm doing a project and it always end up changing because I want to go ahead and add something new. I want to go ahead and change something what we discussed earlier, but now it's either outdated or either I have a new vision. Well, that's called scope creep, and we don't want that for you. So that's where it's really important to understand Scrum, that when those user stories comes in, when those meetings come in, and if someone is trying to be the scope creep, that you actually go in and put those into a bucket list or wish list, or you can tell them that, hey, let's cover this in next sprint if needed, because this sprint we're going to focus on these minimum viable product MVP. Well, as I said, this week we wanted to make sure that our interns are understanding network security. They are starting to get the tactical part of it. They're understanding how to leverage Scrum as a methodology for project management. And all of what they're learning, hey, we want them to go and get that attention from social media. Well, for us, it's professional social media, LinkedIn and Twitter. That's what we encourage. So what they learn about network security, their own opinions about it, and how to actually gain the maximum exposure. So this week we talked about when someone is writing a post and what are the structure they should follow. They should start with the line that entice the reader. They should really start with something that catches the attention of a reader. It could be something insightful, something catchy, something really unique, and something that a reader would be like, "Oh, tell me more about it." Then followed by two or three lines or paragraph of quick short paragraph of 3 lines where it gives them the summary of what they're posting about. So let's say if they're posting about network security, if they're posting about Scrum, they will add 2 to 3 lines of their understanding of the process, what they understood, and what they can actually leverage to help out the organization, or in general, what they learned about it. So, 2 to 3 lines of their own opinions about the topic they are posting. And finally, appropriate hashtags. A lot of times we have seen that our interns are not using the right hashtags. So, we train them, teach them so that when they go work for companies and their companies encourage and really expect them to post whatever the product news announcements coming up, they use the right hashtags so that it really helps their company, so that they have the confidence, they look like professionals, they also understand the importance of the right hashtags for their companies. So that's how they're increasing their network visibility. That's how they're really gaining the exposure that they should, because they're learning all about these topics and they're really understanding that not only they are technical savvy, now they're business savvy, and finally, with the right exposure, they'll be unstoppable. And folks, that's all the time we had today. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. If you want to follow along with our curriculum, go to vtf.academy and you can get all the resources, PDFs, videos that we have created for our interns and really follow along. And if you want to speak to our beginner interns today, you can actually join VTF Discord server as well. Links are at vtf.academy. Upcoming internships for January, we'll start releasing that information around November timeframe. Stay tuned on our VTF social media profiles and our website, virtuallytestingfoundation.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Karthik. Again, make sure you guys check out the VTF Academy and also our Discord server to communicate with the BT beginner track interns. And also, we're looking forward to next year with our future internships with cloud computing with AWS and other that. So stay tuned. Uh, keep track with our website and as well as the VTF Academy and all that. So we look forward to seeing you next week at our next VTF Live. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, Victor, and all of you. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.